After Chutney, everyone became really serious about short films. Because screenwriting is a game, a game that you play with the audience. What do you hold back and what do you...
Sure. South,
I
North
launched him.
shows. Yeah.
I launched him. He read it and he called me and he said, "Ye India ki parasite hai." However, the next one that I'm writing is certainly a theatrical. Are we eating plants or are they fattening us up and eventually going to eat us? It was on the brink of divorce every day. Our neighbors think, seriously, our neighbors think that these two are going to divorce like tomorrow morning.
Okay.
This was a role that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But then when I spoke with Manish, she said, don't take on too much, and he's got so much wisdom. So I was like, yeah, for sure, he's right. We went and met some people who Manish thought might be appropriate, some A-list people, but they were not in favor of playing such a dark character. I'd flopped very, very early and very young and very solidly. So I thought, okay, maybe this is not the job for me. And Irfan was like, he caught hold of me. He was like, तेरे को पता ही नहीं है तू क्या है, तू कर, तू कर, तू कर, तू कर.
Hi Tisca, welcome to Screen.
Thank you so much.
So we all know that you've turned director with Saali Mohabbat, which is, I would say, your first feature as a director because you have directed before. You've directed a short film, Rubaru. So I just want to know how much was that a training ground for Saali Mohabbat, directing that short film? Is it a very different creature, which is a feature film? And basically, how did you think that this should be a feature and not a short film?
So there's three questions there.
Yeah.
So to answer the first question, was it a training ground? Yes, indeed it was. I made 3 short films, Chutney, Churi and Rubaru. All 3 I acted in, 2 I produced, all 3 I wrote, and Rubaru is the one that I directed. But I was so closely involved with even Churi and Chutney, part of the edit, part of all decisions, whether they were creative, whether it was, crewing up for the films. So all of that really does help because whether you make a short film or a long film, it's a film.
Yeah.
And in Chutney, we made a very deliberate attempt to shoot it like a feature. We got Jay Oza, who's also done Gully Boy and so many other wonderful films.
Made in Heaven.
Made in Heaven and all of that. So Oza and I shot 24 together. So this was before Gully Boy because Chutney was 2016. And I asked him, I said, Oza, come do this for me. So he was like, okay, I have 4-5 days, so I'll do it for you. So like a friend, he did it for me. We used drones, we used so many things, which short films, people didn't take it so seriously. But after Chutney, everyone became really serious about short films. For me, that was the first time I wrote anything for screen as a screenplay. And the fact that people connected with it so viscerally and so deeply actually gave me wings because I understood that, I can play this game. Because screenwriting is a game, a game that you play with the audience. What do you hold back and what do you show? And how do you play that? How much, how little? How do you take people around the bend? And then how do you bring them back? And how do you give them a dip and a high? So all of those things I learned from Chutney, Churi and Rubaru. Having said that, a feature film is a full other animal. So the number of questions people ask you is mind-numbing. It starts in the morning, even before you wake up, your direction team has this question, that question, that question. And they're random questions.
Like
how high should the lamp be? Because, eye line में नहीं आना चाहिए, तो ये ऊपर होना चाहिए, पर ऊपर से क्या ये top light आ जाएगी? So, those गाड़ी का number plate का font का size क्या होना चाहिए? I was like, is that also a question? Like, क्या होता है font normally? Saying नहीं, इस state में ऐसा होता है because all the ADs are running around researching. तो उस state में ऐसा होता है. So color क्या चाहिए number plate का? ऐसे कोई standard तो होता होगा ना? They're like नहीं यहाँ नहीं है. You can do black on white or white on black, and so it's just another animal.
Yeah, but don't you have like a production designer for that?
You do, but the questions have to be answered by you because how do you want the frame? In certain shots, the car needed to be, like the number plate needed to be in foreground. So then did you need it to be bigger than normal, hyper real?
Yeah. So when was the time, which was the day or which was the moment that you felt at ease on the set of a feature
I
film?
was at ease.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
not at disease because I knew the script really well. And at the end of the day, I kept telling my team, even if we place the camera simply and just tell the story simply, you all have heard the story. You all like the story. The story is the star. So if we put the camera simply and let the actors do their job, then we're okay. We don't need to complicate it further beyond a point. Some complication we need, but
Yeah.
beyond a point, nahi karte usko, because it doesn't lend itself to that kind of Fincher kind of shots के डस्टबिन के अंदर से कुछ निकल रहा है और वो किधर और चला गया है and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a visually complex
Yeah.
tale.
Yeah.
It's an emotionally complex tale. So you have to also know what kind of film you're setting out to make, right? Yeah.
Why did you think that this should be a feature and not a short film?
You tell me that
Yeah.
more than me because there's a lot of plot, there's a lot of story,
Yeah.
and each character, their motivations. How could I fit this in 15 minutes? It's impossible.
True, yeah.
It's a lot of plot.
Yeah. No, when I was watching it, I felt that even in all your short films, there is a lot of plot for a short film. For those like 20 to 40 minutes, there is a lot of plot, but you kind of compress it or condense it in a manner that it feels very, as you said, that what should I show, what should I hide, which was also the case here. But the fact is that there are like linear, like multiple narratives taking place at the same time. So which was very interesting for me because we've usually seen in your short films that we stick to one narrative. So how challenging or how much fun was it to tell different stories of different people and basically humanize everybody?
I disagree with you in that the short films have one narrative. They don't actually. Chutney has 3 or 4 narratives going on. Very many. There's the past story, there's the present story. In the past story, there's another past story. It drops further down into one more detail. So it's, getting into this happened, but uske pehle this happened, but uske pehle this happened. And the story is told from several points of view, also the God point of view. So not Chutney and Churi as well. It's being told from Anurag's point of view with his girlfriend. It's being told from the wife's point of view. There's also the daughter's point of view. So I don't agree with that. And again, it's non-linear because you're coming from here and from there, from both sides, and then the two sides meet. And in Rubaru, it's certainly not linear because, you get into her past, then you come into her future. Her past keeps coming back to haunt her in the present, and then it's completely non-linear. So I didn't think of it till just now. But I think I probably enjoy that structurally.
Yeah.
That, you don't have to tell a story in a way कि एक था राजा, एक थी रानी, दोनों whatever and khatam kahani. It doesn't have to be straight. So even this, it hits you from, she starts telling a story and then within the story and then within the story and then within the story there are perspectives, and then when Divendu starts telling a story, and so,
Well, it seems like a very fine evolution from Chutney to Saali Mohabbat. Also because there are some similarities which I really enjoyed again. I mean, it instantly took me back to that short film and what it did to all of us. We were just like mind blown by that. And which is that like the character you played in Chutney versus the character Radhika plays in Saali Mohabbat, they are very, unassuming, and they are very, as we call them, de-glamorized, but you can't predict what's going on in their mind, and they get what they want however they want it, without really making a lot of noise about it. It's very subtle, but they get what they want. So I just want to know what makes you curious about these women, and do you know any women in real life, such women in real life?
Thankfully not.
No, not the murderer ones, but maybe we look at a woman and we kind of judge the book by its cover, but there's so much more that's going on within.
Everyone, no? That's not just women, that's just everyone.
Yeah.
All of us have what I call a party face, which you take out into the world. The face that says that I'm fine, I am this person, I am this job, so we wear the mask and we step out into the world. But we're not our masks. We're nobody really knows what the hell is going on in the world. each one of us winging it moment to moment. And that's why when a life-threatening incident or something catastrophic happens, good or bad, we are not equipped because we've put these mukhotas on, these masks on, and I'm so-and-so, I'm Indian, I'm this age, I live in this city, I'm an actor, I'm a director, I'm this, I'm that, and then something happens to your mother and you're nothing. You're just another human being struggling to see the loss of another human being who you love deeply. So, it's where we're all so unknowing of life. So it's that area, the masks that we have, our motivations, what drives us, what makes us, for me, I'm right. For the other person's right. They have their own POV. So when these clash is what makes it supremely fun for me to watch human interaction. I think the biggest drama exists there. You don't need Titanics to crash into icebergs. For me, those are big enough Titanics.
I also like the contrast between her, Radhika's character, and her sister's character, because even I think till her, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but till her last breath, she is watching a skincare routine video, her sister, and which is, I don't think Radhika's character would ever think of skincare. She would just go about. She's very close to plants, as we see, so very rooted, earthy. So how much fun was that to play on that?
Mad fun. That was my personal favorite, one of my personal favorite moments in the film, where the person on the YouTube video is saying कि विटामिन सी थोड़ा तो जलेगा, इसके लिए बर्दाश्त कर लो, and सुंदरता के लिए थोड़ा बर्दाश्त कर लो. So it's a commentary on the whole thing of how and then beautiful thi par ab kya fayda, so things like that, which was there. So they're for fun. They're there for fun.
There's also a little interaction that I really enjoyed between Divyendu and Anurag Kashyap, where he says, Anurag says that, अरे वो मैं तो सुना था बहुत घरेलू थी, बोलते हाँ घर पे ही मारा ना. Which is so funny in the moment.
And that was Divyendu ad-lib that line. I love him for that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
मैंने तो सुना है घरेलू सी थी, so was the line. So he says, but he said हाँ तो घर पे ही मारा है, is what he came up with, and we were laughing. We died laughing. It was so funny.
And even when Anurag says कैसा feminism चल रहा है,
that we had.
That was in the script. Yeah. But I am really interested to know how did you choose Anurag Kashyap, the actor? I know that you worked with him earlier in Churi, but now I think one of the first projects that he did as an actor was with you, and now he's everywhere. South, North shows. Yeah.
I launched him. I'm going to call him after this interview and tell him I was your launching.
I mean, you were, yeah.
Well, there's more story there, but it's not for me to reveal that. He's acted before, but more on that later. Somebody else was supposed to do that role, and Anurag is a dear friend, and he looks out for me. I look out for him in very many ways. He had read the script, and I'd insisted that I want to narrate it, and he insisted कि नहीं मैं तो पढ़ूंगा. And he read it, and he called me, and he said ये इंडिया की पैरासाइट है, तो बहुत अच्छी है, मैं बनाऊंगा. So I said ठीक है. And then the lockdown happened, and a lot of stuff went here and there, and his company went through some changes, and then I took it to Manish, and then I called Anurag and I told him I'm making it with Manish and I'm sorry and whatever. So he said, no, make it. And then he wished me luck, and as luck would have it, the actor who was supposed to play the character of Gajendra Bhaiya, he had an accident and broke his shoulder.
No.
And he called me 6 days before the shoot of the film, and we were starting with that schedule, and he told me I can't do the film. So I was like, what? Can you perhaps put a sling? But I don't want to be a bad human being to putting someone through pain. And I also didn't want to compromise on my first schedule. So I was like, okay. I called Manish, my producer, and I told him, I said, should I call Anurag? He said, dekh lo, I don't know whether he'll do it or not. I said, no, he's friends with you, he's friends with me. Let's ask. So I called up Anurag, and he was like, So I said, where are you? So he said, Australia mein hu. I said, can you come back tomorrow? So I told him what happened. He said, parson aa jata hu.
Wow.
So he came.
How nice.
Yeah.
There's even, but was he supposed to direct it also, or was it always your director initially when you? Okay, he was just planning to produce it. Okay. Speaking of Manish, I think I read somewhere that he was supposed to be the costume designer of one of your first films, which never happened.
Yes.
Which film was that?
It's a film called Khilona,
Okay.
which Mahesh Bhatt was supposed to direct with Aditya Pancholi and another actor called Prithvi at that time. And that film, we did the Mahurat, but it never took off. And Manish made the costume for that, and I've known him since then.
Oh wow.
And we've stayed in touch and been friendly.
Since this was the first production that went on floors under his production house, Stage 5, didn't you have any like preconceived notion that Are Manish to nahi banayega because he's all about glamour? How did you like how did it land in his lap?
Sudeep actually
Oh, okay.
told me that Manish is producing.
Yeah.
And I went and I called Manish. So he called me back immediately and he said, yeah, come and narrate to me. We're looking for films. So I narrated, Sanjay and I. Sanjay is my husband who's co-written the film with me. And we both arrived at Manish's house, and as the wonderful host that he is, he fed us and everything. And as soon as we finished, I started the narration. And in 3 minutes, he looked for 2-3 minutes and then he said, I'm making it. So from that day till today, he's never taken a single step back as a producer to back off in any way or say that this is not, that is not, whatever. So he's been there like a rock to make the film.
Was it always planned as a streaming release?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Because I was just talking to him yesterday, Manish, and he said that, you know, I always wanted my first production to be a theatrical, and then we'll see wherever it finds a home. And he was a little disappointed that Gustakish did not work. So do you also feel as a filmmaker that I do want my films to release on the big screen? I don't want it to be only a streaming property.
I think every story has a DNA. Some films will be good as short films because that's the kind of plot there is. This story, I think, lends itself. It's not an extravaganza film. Perhaps 20 years ago, if it had come out, it would be a theatrical. When there was the whole chupke chupke and you know those kind of things, there was a lot more within the house. So today, the language of cinema and the kind of expectation that the audience has when they step out of their house and spend that kind of money is that they want something which is sort of epic. You know, set pieces, whether it's an RRR or a Chava or a Dhurandhar for that matter. So that's the expectation of the audience. And this film doesn't offer that. However, the next one that I'm writing is certainly a theatrical.
Oh wow. Can you tell us more?
Not yet. Not yet. It's a paranormal story.
Oh. How interesting. I mean, I can imagine that coming from you.
Yeah. What do you mean?
As in, it's a nice arc, no Chutney, Churi, then Rubaru, not so much, but yeah. And then Saali Mohabbat. There is murder happening. There is something going on underneath the layers. But speaking of Chutney, another parallel that I saw between that and Saali Mohabbat is plants. And you know, plants as your best friends, plants as your weapon of choice in every way. So, do you also have a green thumb? Are you also, into gardening? What is your relationship?
Where
with
should
plants?
I garden in Bombay? I'd love to be into gardening, but where should
we
I?
We have one here, but I don't think it's real.
When I've grown up in the hills, and for me, taking walks amongst plants, it's always been that they're always there. It's so much.
It's a given.
It's a given. And then my parents were we were all in the same school in that my dad was my principal, my mom was a teacher, my brother and I were studying. We'd come back and mom would warm the food up and my brother and I were sent into the lawn to pluck fresh tomatoes, get mooli, get kheera, whatever, to cut and have salad at the table as fresh as that. So it's also something that I feel that's so visceral. every human being relates to plants. There's nobody who's not had a plant. Everyone's had a plant, and everyone's loved a plant. And the thing is that the irony of it, when I was making the film, it was kept occurring to me again and again that are we eating plants or are they fattening us up and eventually going to eat us? They give us mangoes, they give us ye kha lo, wo kha lo, wo kha lo, फिर हम लोग अच्छे तगड़े हो जाते हैं. Then by the end of it, we go back into the soil. So, who's eating who?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. But what do you feel we're losing out on because we're moving away from plants, from earth? What are we losing out on as humans?
Everything. Everything. But nature, I was traveling with my husband to Indonesia, and that big typhoon had happened, the tsunami. And we were overflying Banda Aceh, that big island which was destroyed. So we were looking out the window of the aircraft, and it looked like from the sky that as if the sea has clawed away a chunk of land and everything with it. It looked like a claw mark, literally. Nature saying, nature doesn't play in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Nature plays it's in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years. It'll do one thing and everything be equalized. So I have a lot of faith in nature. And I try and keep on the right side of it by being a little sustainable in the fact that, if you're brushing your teeth, turn the tap off. If you're having bath and showering, then turn the shower off and don't keep it running with water. With clothes, I try and, do thrifting, and I try and put clothes back into circulation. If I'm not wearing them, give them away. Make sure that you're not just hoarding stuff like that. So, I mean, not just with that, even with food, like it's a whole way that I think about things. And I think the film is coming from that sense that we are one. We can't rip ourselves apart from nature because we're ripping ourselves.
How do you think we can make our film sets more sustainable and more environment friendly?
So the amount of plastic there is on a film set, that makes me shiver. So I've very often recommended to my producers, don't give those single-use plastic bottles and all of that. Keep the big canisters, which are refillable, and paper cups. And then people chuck their paper cups. How much they want to have, they have, and then they can chuck it. Or otherwise, just spend a little money, give everyone bottles, and they can label their bottles and be drinking with it through the day. That's another option. And if everyone gets into the habit of carrying their own bottle, then, so much of this plastic nonsense will go. Plus, there's a whole lot of candies and other plastic things, chips, there's that, the other, which I think we can just do better packaging. If we can figure out a way to make artificial diamonds, I'm sure we can figure out a way to make things that do the good work of keeping the humidity and the qualities of the food locked in, but not destroy the planet while we're doing it. I've recently read something very interesting that in the Amazon or somewhere they discovered a algae which eats plastic, and the waste that comes out of the algae is eco-friendly.
Oh.
Yeah, I just recently read that and I was like, oh, bravo. This is the thing then.
Yeah.
It's just going to consume plastic. Just set that algae upon Bombay and we're sorted.
Yeah. Discovery of the century.
Oh, totally.
But speaking of gardening, I really enjoy. I don't know why, but it gave me a kick to watch Sharat Saxena garden because we don't see him do that very often on screen. Most of the time, I've grown up seeing him as the bad guy in every film. So how did you think of him? Because it's pretty much casting against type.
It was, he's such a old world charmer. Like I said, Sharat sir, ma'am, Haj, Jay, yes ma'am. I think, ma'am, mat boliye sir, please, but he's a darling. He's an absolute darling. When I narrated the role to him, he started crying. And because he started crying, I started crying.
Wow.
And he was like, ye to Krishna hai. So I said, in many ways, yeah. In many ways, yeah, he's the Sarthi, he's the keeper of so many things. And yeah, it was just, but he also needed to have a certain physicality because some of the work that he's doing in the film is,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah.
Have you worked with him as an actor? Oh no. Okay. Another similarity that I find between Chutney and Saali Mohabbat, or even Churi, is trouble in marriage, and it gives, I don't know, it's very surprising or kind of like very subversive that you co-wrote this with your husband. I mean, how did that happen? What was the writer's room like?
It was on the brink of divorce every day. Our neighbors think, seriously, our neighbors think that these two are going to divorce like tomorrow morning.
Okay.
It's awful because we both bring very different energies. He's into a lot of like action and a lot of like movements and all of that, and I'm into a lot of the inner workings and all of that. But eventually we bring the yin and the yang, and what comes out is quite solid. And I think that clash, and then I'm like, yo, coming for lunch, and then it's back to normal. But that point, we'll both fight till.
But how did this happen? Like, was it a discussion between the two of you that gave you the idea for you to co-write the project? Like, how did he come on board?
So he's been writing. He wrote a series called Ranneeti, which is on Jio Hotstar. And he's written 3 books, and he's won a lot of writing contests. He's a pilot. He used to fly Air India. He used to fly the Dreamliner, the 787. And then I think he developed a very, very keen interest in story over a period of time. He was always a fantastic storyteller. Like you would imagine that being an actor, I would be better, but I'm not.
Okay.
He's wonderful with narrating an incident and making it seem like, oh my God, I was like, that's exactly what happened, but the way you told it made it far more interesting. So he's had that knack. He's always had that knack. I think he's just, I'm glad he's making some money out of it now.
Yeah. As creative partners or as real life partners, do you also complement each other's craft?
Certainly we do.
Like, for example, I'll be more specific. Are you a better storyteller because of him?
Absolutely. 100%. In fact, he's the better storyteller.
Okay.
I'm an accidental storyteller. I'm a storyteller only because I want to create roles for myself as an actor. That's the genesis of it. So I'm an accidental storyteller. He's the real storyteller. I came into this because I wanted to play these roles. I wanted to play the role in Chutney, in Churi, in Rubaru. Those were roles I wanted to play. This was a role that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But then when I spoke with Manish, she said, don't take on too much, and he's got so much wisdom. So I was like, yeah, for sure, he's right. And so that's why I chose to direct it.
Was it easier to detach?
Yeah, once the decision was made. Till it wasn't made, I was... But once it was made...
But since there's some attachment or since you're maybe seeing yourself in that role when you're writing or when you're developing it, you must be looking for an actor who comes maybe very close to how you see yourself. Is that how Radhika's casting worked? Like, what did you see in her that you
Radhika
casted?
and I are completely dissimilar.
Yeah, which is why I'm asking.
We're obviously completely different. Even as the kind of actors we are, we're not, you couldn't say that I could replace her in a film or she could replace me in a film. Once that idea was abandoned, it was thoroughly abandoned. And then there is no question of trying to, because in any case, you can't make a hybrid. Then you have to fully take that on, because otherwise you're doing a disservice to the script, and that I would not tolerate.
Yeah.
That the script is sacrosanct. It's beyond and above any actor, any producer, anything. That's like sort of the gold standard of everything.
How do you think of Radhika then?
Actually, Manish came up with a couple of suggestions. We tossed a few ideas around, and we went and met some people who Manish thought might be appropriate, some A-list people, but they were not in favor of playing such a dark character, and I'm glad because they wouldn't have worked. And what Radhika's done with the role and what has finally come on screen is, I think, quite lovely.
When I met Radhika, we were also talking about how she is also turning into a director, a writer, developing her own projects because she also wants to be cast in those, and she said that, nobody's imagining me in roles that I see myself in. And I think you also, I read somewhere that you mentioned that this kind of thought came from a conversation you had with Shabana Azmi.
I saw an interview of hers where she said, where are the roles? And I said, I don't want to be in that state of mind. So I'm going to create those opportunities for myself.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Shabana Azmi says, where are the roles?
Exactly.
Then what are the chances?
Exactly.
Okay. But now that you are developing projects and you have directed a film which doesn't have you, what do you enjoy more? Is it only the directing or is it both? Directing a film that you're acting in?
I'll not answer that question directly. I'll answer it as I think I'm attached to story. I hear a story and I want to be with it, in it, through it, around it, make it happen. I could produce it, I could act in it, I could direct it, I could creative direct it, I could shepherd it, I could do anything with it. But I want good stories to be told. I don't want people to make projects. I don't want to make projects. I don't want to say that ये ले लेते हैं, वो ले लेते हैं, ये ले लेते हैं, वो ले लेते हैं और एक आइटम सॉन्ग डाल के इसको पका के बना देते हैं. When the potential for story itself is so high, human beings have succeeded on this planet. If you read Yuval Noah Harari, then in Sapiens he says very clearly that the reason we have succeeded and today are the most successful race on the planet. I would beg to differ on the most successful part. We're the most destructive. Okay, but chalo, we are the apex predator. So if we are the apex predator and we are the most successful race, so as to say, what we're doing with that success is shit, but still. So what enabled us to get to that point? So when that young boy was leaving his cave to go hunting, his grandfather called him back and said, come here, come here. When you take a left from here, there is this, make sure you hit the spear this angle. When you hit the spear like this, that it'll, there must be at least 4 of you, catch the lion by its hind legs, do this, bring the skin back, we'll need the skin. So it was all stories. That information that was passed on not just as part of your DNA, knowledge in your DNA, as an instinctive knowledge to swim or, certain basic instincts which are hardwired into you, but they were told via information and stories. And imagine the stories piling up over thousands of years. I'm not just me. I'm also my grandmother's nose sitting on my face. I'm also my grandfather's knowledge of being an engineer. I'm also my, so many people, something that are all in me. That's where I sit. Right? So those are the stories that make us who we are. And that's what makes us the most successful race on the planet. So if you can tell these stories well, then boy, you're talking. But don't do a disservice ke chalo isko film is one way. It could be a street play, it could be a song, it could be a dance, it could be a air show. Anything that has a narrative is what interests me. So I'm very interested in this idea of humans and stories.
So if the story speaks to you, then maybe you attach your face to it. Or if it doesn't, if it's telling you that, okay, cast someone else, then you cast someone else. Does that how it works?
No. I don't think it's like that one is thinking about the casting per se. Okay. That it's the story that needs to be made, then whatever is needed for it.
I want to talk a little bit about your early career. I know that you started as what we call a lead actor in
Wet Shirt Heroine.
Yeah, Wet Shirt Heroine. Opposite Ajay Devgan in Platform. Yeah, and then from what I saw, I haven't seen those films, but I know that there were a few of those, and then there was a break, and then you came back and you were not playing the lead anymore. What was that phase like?
I was very young when I came to Bombay and very fazed by this city.
Yeah.
And I came from a very conservative family. And for my parents, it was like, do you want to do films? Why? Because I was a very, very good student. I topped my most of my academics. And the expectation was, so my college principal called my dad, who was my school principal, and said that, you know, I'm going to write her recommendations, and she's got to, you know, she can go to Penn, or she can go to this or that, or wherever she wants to go, Brown, and then she can come back and teach. And that seemed to me to be like a nightmare. I was like, are these guys kidding? Why would I want to come back to college? I don't want to. The life of, and I don't diss that in any way, but it's not something that interested me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to sort of, you know, fly the coop and not be in that conservative atmosphere. Wanted to breathe and see the world and I was a bit of a rebel. So I left, and my dad said, finish your college and then, you know, get good grades. And so I got really good grades, and by the time I was in second year, I was already, you know, sort of talking to a couple of directors and producers here, and then I started modeling, and one thing led to the other, and so that happened. So my initial years here were very tough for me because I came from that sort of background. And then I went and took a break because my first film flopped, and whatever little work I had in the wake of that didn't do too well either. So then I thought, I'd flopped very, very early and very young and very solidly. So I thought, okay, maybe this is not the job for me, and I'm still young enough to go and pick up a course and start studying and do something else, and I'll do something else. And at that point I met Sanjay and we started dating, and he said, but if you're serious about acting, then why don't you do theatre? Because that's the place I believe everyone does stuff. So I said, okay. So I went to Prithvi Theatre and studied with Dubey ji, and then with Feroz Abbas Khan, and did plays and everything. And then I came back, I did Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, then I did Astitva, then I did Sarkar. And after that, I got fed up of TV because it was like, so much.
My earliest memory of you is, it's a little funny, but as the mother of Karishma and Karishma Ka Karishma.
Yeah, that was the same phase.
Yeah.
And I made a bunch of money. Then I traveled, and I went to Bali with my sister, and I went to live in an ashram for some time and all of that, just to experience life. And I came back, and in the middle I did a bunch of these star bestsellers with Irfan and Tigmanshu and all of these guys. And Irfan was like, he caught hold of me. He was like, "Terko pata hi nahi hai tu kya hai? Tu kar." And he started giving me DVDs of Once Upon a Time in America and Fargo the film, and this was 2000, 2001, 2. He started giving me this work, and I saw the kind of work the world was doing, and I was like, whoa, this I like. What I was doing here, I didn't like. So then I got myself an education and started traveling and, you know, looking at work differently. And then preparation meets opportunity. I bumped into, they called me for Taare Zameen Par, and at first I thought someone was pranking me. But then it turned out to be serious, and I auditioned for it. And
Yeah. But obviously we have to talk about Taare Zameen Par a little bit. But I was talking to Vipin Sharma, and I asked him that, you know, because he is also developing something as a director. So I asked him that, you know, Tisca is turning a director, and he said that that I could see that restless energy in her at that time, which is why maybe she's exploring that side now. So were you that was there restless energy in you?
Would a restless person know they're restless?
Yeah.
You don't know it yourself, right? I didn't know. I'm not aware. I mean, if he's saying it, it must be there, but you don't have that much self-awareness, and particularly then.
Yeah, but the tricky part with that you know, role is that you've maybe started enjoying the craft, and you started enjoying playing characters. But how many people approached you with a mother role after that?
Everyone.
So how do you dodge that?
Consciously.
Yeah.
Very stubbornly, very consciously.
Even if the parts are great, even if the films are great.
They won't. Because the idea of Taare Zameen Par was a mother, a particular mother.
Yeah.
And she was a very specific sort of a mother.
Yeah.
Typical, yes, of an Indian mom, but a very nuanced person. Like she was looking on the internet for her child, she was doing other stuff, she was trying to do her best. She had her own complexities, she had given up her job. I had a lot of discussions with Amir and Amol about that. And everybody else came to me with, we want to pick that character and put it in our film. And that doesn't work for me. Because it'd be unnatural for a woman in her late 20s to not be a mother. Because then people question कि अगर आप इसको फिल्म में डाल रही हो, माँ क्यों नहीं है? क्या fertile नहीं है या husband नहीं कुछ हो सकता या is it a choice, is she career obsessed, or does she not want a child now, for what reason, etc, etc. So that was not my issue कि माँ बनना, and that, you know, so basically why people don't want to play mothers is because it's very desexing. It's, you know, that you're not desirable anymore and you become this frumpy whatever thing. I played a mum in Dil To Bachcha Hai to Shruti Hassan, no less. Yeah. So then that's another kind of, then Rahasya, which was another kind of mother. And yeah.
But you talked about desexing, and it's so interesting that maybe because you said no to so many mother roles then, that you could play that maybe a Raj Mehta could imagine you as this, I don't know, I can call it a sex symbol, but but an object of desire in both Good News and Jug Jug Jio. Were you surprised by his choices when he approached you?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm constantly happy when people are offering me a plethora of roles. Now the big conversation with Raj is that now if you give me a guest appearance, I am so seriously not going to talk to you because let's do something substantial. But Raj was actually an assistant on one of the films that I was shooting in the in England, in New York, and he was studying there, and so he was interning on a film, and that's when he saw me. I don't remember from that time, but he told me that that's when he saw me, and he said, okay, you know, I'd like to work with her, etc. And that's how that happened. But he's a lovely, intelligent man, and I hope he makes multiple films.
Yeah. No, but I remember those characters more than a lot of other characters in those movies. So I think it's kudos to you.
Thank you. And to Raj.
Yeah, and to Raj to visualize you in those roles and to craft those roles. But, you know, when you played, because you've developed so many projects on, as we call, like, troubled marriages, when you played the other woman in Jug Jug Jio, how did you make sure that you kind of maybe humanize her, or how do you play her differently?
I think it was there.
Yeah, it was.
It was in the script because she says, look, don't come to me thinking that I'm going to be doing your rotis and whatever. इसलिए मैंने कुत्ता नहीं रखा. And he was I was laughing at that line, and
it was also so refreshing to see you and Anil Kapoor, because right after 24, which was so different.
Yeah.
But can you just talk a little bit about how he is as a co-actor? Because I've heard great stories about.
He's insane. He's completely insane. He's like, I remember from 24, this stays in my head, and I've talked about this like ample times. It's 2:30 at night, everyone's fried because we're shooting 16, 17, 18 hours, some Mira Road, some hospital set, something or the other. We're walking up and down this, you know, action-packed series where everyone's running, racing against time, all of that. And he's pacing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I had this little dabba, and there was like Mari biscuits, because I was on a diet myself, because he always puts everyone on a diet. And I was eating that like half a biscuit, and I offered it to him because he passed by. So he went, took a biscuit, then he walked that way, and he came back and he put the biscuit back. I looked at him, I said, why? He's saying, ek khaunga to aur khane ka man karega. And he didn't eat that biscuit. And so he's that sort of strict discipline.
Do you think 24 was ahead of its time, in the sense that I feel like it was a great streaming show, but there was no streaming in India?
Yeah.
Do you feel that like if it releases today, it would do even better?
100%. He should release it.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe like another season. Sure.
Even that.
Yeah.
Even that itself, if he does, then I think he'll do fantastically well.
Now, finally, I just want to ask you very briefly of some people's influences on you as a filmmaker now that you've turned a director or even as an actor. I want to start by asking you about Nasiruddin Shah because you work with him on stage and in film. Basically, like, is there something he does or he did or he told you that has stayed with you as an actor, as a professional? Yeah.
Nasir sir and his stories are like, so I was workshopping with him, and he is such a generous man of spirit. He fed us, he gave us cigarettes, he gave us cookies and muffins, and taught us. There was Hiba, there was Ratna ma'am, there was Huda, Randeep Huda, there was Ankur Vikal, there's a bunch of us. He'd got all of us together and was workshopping us because he said that, working actors need to be training themselves. And so I was asking him a question. I said, sir, when you get a script, like when you first get a script, what do you do with it? He said, learn your lines and don't walk into the furniture. I was like, yes, sir. Got that.
Yeah.
So it's simple.
Yeah.
Do your hard work. Do the work. बाकी की intellectual ऊपर की बातें ये वो सब, the more you do the lines, they will suggest things to you.
Yeah. I think the famous line that he said a lot is that an actor should not act or an actor should not think, an actor should do, which is also so fundamental, which a lot of actors forget about.
Absolutely.
Another name is Aamir Khan because I think you're one of the few actors who have been directed by him. How was that like? Has the director in him somewhere shaped you as a director also?
100%. Probably one of the biggest influences. I saw him and I had my eyes. Aamir is, I watched him on set and I had my eyes on him all the time. I don't think he was aware. But I was watching the process. I remember seeing Lagan in the cinema and I was thinking, that's it. That is it. The kind of choices, the kind of, the kind of prep, the kind of everything from the makeup to the costume to the language to a truly entertaining extravaganza, a unique story. I thought this person, this entity is such a cut above everything else that's happening. I was massively impressed. And
but at the same time, like Taare Zameen Par is completely different than Lagan in terms of scale, in terms
in terms of prep, in terms of the groundwork, in terms of the understanding of your audience, in terms of do not dumb your audience down. Elevate them. Give them stuff. Play with them. This is a strange arrogance that we have कि हमें समझ में आ रहा है, उनको नहीं समझ में आएगा. हम बैठ सकते हैं, वो नहीं बैठ सकते. हम कर सकते हैं, वो नहीं कर सकते. आप क्या बोल रहे हो यार? What made you better than them just because you wield a camera? Excuse me. Today everyone has a phone. If you put something in there and there's truth that you've put it in with, then the audience captures that truth. They don't give a shit about the rest of it. That I think is the essence. And I think the kind of prep that he does, the way he divided every scene into 4 quarters, every how everything was planned, meticulous, organized. So I had a vision that if someone was looking at the unit of Taare Zameen Par from the universe, from the sky, they would feel like it's one animal. Everyone, because he made sure that he did the narration of the film for the entire unit. So down to the spot boy, to HODs, to everybody knew आज कौन सा scene करे, वो वाला scene कर रहे. And everyone had, if they had an opinion, they could tell Aamir. And he would take it because what makes you, film तो सब देखते हैं ना, आप कोई, you're not doing quantum physics, कि किसी की समझ में नहीं आएगा. You're making a film for people, so people will understand it. So everyone's opinion counts for one vote. And so he did it like that, and I love that.
Irfan Khan, when you worked with him on Kissa,
and before on the Star
before
Bestsellers.
we've already talked about, but even then,
I saw Irfan through many phases. First as a co-actor, a man who was transitioning from TV, looking to do various things. Then he wanted to be, he produced both of these shows. These one was called Ek Shaam Ki Mulaqat and one was called Hum Saath Saath Hain Kya, which both Tishu directed. He wanted me to do a third one, but then it didn't come to pass. Then he was directing a series and he wanted me to act in it, and I was signed to someone else, and he was very irritated with me. He didn't speak to me for 2-3 years. And then he went through a phase of great frustration in his life, because having the kind of talent, and I'm sure he was aware that he had that gift, that fragrance, and that unable to put it out into the world. And then while we were shooting, Kissa Pan Singh Tomar came out, and it did Hasil he did before, it did okay, but then he did a bunch of nonsense value films. After Hasil was good. Then he did Pan Singh Tomar, and Pan Singh Tomar became a legitimate hit. And after that, he just went zip, 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 zip. And I remember seeing relief on his face that now finally I can play for India. Instead of being on the benches and looking at,
When was the last time you met him?
No one's asked me that. In his house, I think, in mud.
But this was when he was okay. He was alright. Okay. And finally, it's a bit of a spinner, but what have you picked up from Sunny Deol? Since you did Ghayal, where he was the director. So,
yes. When I walked onto the set for the first time, and he'd seen me, obviously, when he cast me and all of that. So he was walking like this. Like his back was almost parallel to the ground. He was walking like this. And continuing to walk as if that's the way people walk. He was in intense pain. Intense. He had a terrible back. But he continued through it. And action sequences and this and that and everything. I think he's very shy. But he's a very astute, grounded human being. And I have only the warmest respect for him.
But looking forward to whatever you do next, as an actor, as a director. I'm ready to watch your film and get scared. Waiting for that one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a very well researched interview. Thank you for that.